about you being gone is I can watch the game all day long, and I can stretch my legs out in the bed, extra pillow underneath my head. I don't know why nobody ever told me about the upside of lonely. I got a lot more room for my stuff, and I only have to wash one cup. I can stay up late and play my guitar, and the groceries go twice as far. I don't know why nobody ever told me about the upside of lonely. Your girlfriends ain't ringing the phone off the wall. I never have to hear from that mother-in-law. Ain't cut the grass since the middle of June. I smoke a big cigar up in my living room. Don't know why nobody ever told me about the upside of lonely. Clothes right on the floor, let the trash pile up right by the door. Eat pizza and ice cream 3 times a day, 'cause I ain't worried about watching my weight. I don't know why nobody ever told me about the upside of lonely. Yeah, man, just think about all the good things about you being gone. Stretch out here at home. Hey, man, come on in. Don't mind the muddy shoes on the white carpet. She ain't here. You hungry? Hey, man, I got some food if you want to eat. I got a microwave oven with little pictures on the front of it. Just pick what you want to eat and push the button, and it will cook it for you. Yeah, man, you can smoke that cigar up here in the kitchen. Just use that vase over there. Need something to drink? We got beer, bourbon, whiskey, scotch, Diet Coke, Fanta. Yeah, man, I bet you've been on the road for a minute. Bathroom's right down the hall. Switches on the left, doors on the right. Just remember to leave the lid up. Leave it up. Hey, everybody, welcome to Wednesday Night Live. Jazz, guitars, and cigars. Here's a song made famous, actually written by the one and only Irving Berlin. They say that falling in love is wonderful. It's wonderful, so they say. And with the moon up above. It's wonderful, it's wonderful. So they tell me. I can't recall who said it. I know I never read it. I only know they tell me that love is grand. And the thing that's known as romance, it's wonderful, wonderful in every way. So they say. Some morning, and without any warning, you're stopping people and telling them that love is grand. And to hold your girl in your arms, it's wonderful, wonderful in every way, in every way, in every way. So they say. Everybody, they say it's wonderful, and I'm here to agree with them. Welcome to Wednesday night Guitars, Cigars, and Jazz here. Facebook live from our studios here in Rancho Mirage, California, where it is just getting warmer and warmer out there, folks. In fact, at some point we probably won't even have to cook our eggs indoors anymore, if you know what I'm saying. Let's see, what do we got to talk about today? Well, of course, you just heard the guitar. The cigar for the day that we're smoking is an Avo, and I thought it was very apt. It is Avo's Improvisation Cigar 2020, and I had one last night and it just knocked me out. So great cigar. Avo Improvisation 2020 is our cigar of the evening. And what might I be drinking? Well, let me tell you. Our dear friends, John and Terry Boletto, make some of the best wines up in the Sonoma Valley. And this one is from their winery up there in Sebastopol, Santa Rosa area. And this is their 2018 Rosé of Pinot Noir, not to be confused with the 2018 Filipino Noir. This wine is delicious, and it's from the Russian River Valley and Boletto. Check it out. Fantastic wines, fantastic people. He's a great pal of ours, he and Terry, and we love them dearly. So those are our booze that we're drinking right now and what we're smoking. Of course, our CD is still for sale out there. We've got our wonderful Brian Nova Collective CD. In fact, one of the performers on that CD is our guest tonight. One of our guests, Mr. Laurence Hobgood, is on that CD. Will be joining us a little bit later. Also, we have our tip jar here. Never expected, but always appreciated here. Help cover the massive production costs that we incur each week here at Rancho Mirage Vivify Music Studios. And let's take a shout out to everybody out there. Of course, we've got our pals here in the desert, at Palm Desert and Mirage. I also want to give a big shout out to some pals of ours up at Telford's Cigar Lounge up in beautiful Marin County. And I'm also looking at saying hi, of course, to all our pals up there at the Churchill Room in Kirkland and all our pals over at the Vertigo Club in Seattle. What's not working? The sound's not working.
It's internet. Everyone says it's out of sync. You're on the wrong internet. We need to restart the show real quick.
Oh, I don't think it's that, honey. Try the Studio 824C. Just on top there, sound levels. Yeah, try that one and turn one off. All right, so maybe that puts us back in sync. Anyway, where was I? Saying hi to all our pals out there in the cigar world, as well as I hope you guys are all smoking something fun. We wish we were out there with you smoking. In fact, we will be taking our show on the road in the not too distant future, and we're looking at probably doing some of our shows right out of the cigar clubs themselves. So we're really excited about it. So at this point, I think what I'd like to do is
I need to change the internet. I need to just stop the show and restart it. Hold on, just let people.
you can't do that.
Then tell people, hold on for a second.
We'll lose the live feed. You can't go back to a live feed.
Okay, hold on.
We are going to go to a video right now. Before I introduce my first guest, we've got a video of several videos of us playing, actually, and I want you to get a chance to listen to the magnificent sounds of the great Laurence Hobgood, who will be joining us here in just a minute. And this particular video is features myself, along with Laurence and Andy Fraga Jr. and Terry Miller. So check it out. Here we go, boys. 1, 2, 3. All right, everybody. Honey, switch back to the system audio, and then turn off the studio audio. We're just checking in to see if anybody can hear us now. If it's working, not working. I don't see anything coming through our. Yeah, well, we're going live here. They're going to see this. So anyway, we're going to keep moving forward here, and hopefully things will even out. We're working out the problems right now. My next guest right now is Laurence Hobgood, who's coming up in here. Now, Laurence is a jazz pianist, composer, arranger, producer, a Yamaha artist, and Grammy Award winning artist who has had a 30-plus year career. He has won more awards than I have time to even talk about, including, of course, multiple Grammy nominations and a Grammy. He's played Carnegie Hall, Lincoln Center, the White House, John F. Kennedy Center for the Performing Arts, the Hollywood Bowl, and many, many others. For 20 years, he served as a pianist, arranger, collaborator, and co-producer for singer Kurt Elling. Which that time they won multiple Grammy nominations. And now he's out on his own with a fantastic trio. And I've had just the sincere pleasure of having the opportunity of playing with Laurence and getting a chance to spend time with them. And it's just, we're loving it together. I'm loving spending time with my buddy Laurence. So I'd like to bring him on right now. How about a big internet round of applause for Laurence Hobgood. I'm going to get my little headphones on here, Laurence. Sorry. So I can hear you. Dude, you're all dressed up too. Can you hear me? Can you hear me okay? Come on. How good is that, huh? We've got our avos. And you know our friends, the Bolettos, very well. They're good friends of yours, too, and Ariane's. Oh, I like that. I like that. Yeah, so what's news? What's going on with yourself? Yeah, no kidding. Wow. Hey, I've got a question coming here, but Trevor Wheatman asks, can anybody tell us what your piano is? So maybe you want to explain your piano a little bit to everybody. Perfect. Wow. No strings attached. You should be an Yamaha artist. They're the ones that should be humbled to have you. Well, then it sounds like a... Oh, wow. Yeah. Yeah, no kidding. Yeah, no kidding. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Hey, listen, what do you say we listen to another video here? So we've got a nice video that Laurence and I did as a duet, and it is a beautiful ballad, played beautifully by Laurence. It's called It Never Entered My Mind. So here, check it out. All right, Laurence, that was beautiful.
Thank you.
Hey, listen, our audio was not working on the last interview.
The Skype's not working again. You have your warning sign.
You just clicked it off, that's why.
No, I
Miss Sony.
didn't.
You said okay.
I did not say okay. It's the same.
Lonnie, so Laurence, we missed your interview on the last talk. Could you repeat what you said about your piano?
You won't be able to hear him. You won't hear him.
Stop.
You won't, because of this yellow sign right here. This is what happened last week.
Then click it.
I can't click it.
Yeah, because you just, yeah.
It says, is currently being broadcast on OnlyFans.
Next. People are loving this. They're loving it.
The music?
Oh yeah.
I think he's going through the system audio.
Vickers
so
is
they
having a
can't hear him.
cohiba.
What's that?
Vickers is enjoying a cohiba while you two
We
play
just can't
beautiful.
hear him. Can you move that out of the way so I can at least see his face?
Well, this is gonna be paused like this one. This is why.
Sorry, dude, we're having troubles hearing you on this side.
Yeah, I get that.
What I'm gonna have to do is this.
Can I hear you now?
I actually don't know whether he heard what I just said or not. He put his earphones back on.
Now I can hear you. The trouble is when I switch over there, apparently nobody else can hear you. So
You might need to call him on your phone again.
I might try to call you on your phone here. So I'm going to throw back on the next video so everybody can get a listen to that, and then we'll work this out. So here's video number 3. This is a wonderful video that we cut, just Laurence and I doing a duet called "Watch What Happens." So take a listen and let's see. We'll watch. All right, Laurence, you ready?
Yeah, baby.
Here we go.
Let's do it.
1, 2, 3. Why don't you let someone start believing you? Let him hold out his hand. Let him find you and watch what happens. Want someone who can look in your eyes and see deep in your heart. Let him find you and watch what happens. Cold, no, I won't believe your heart is cold. Maybe just afraid to be broken again. Why don't you let someone with a deep love to give that deep love to you? And what magic you'll see to let someone give his heart to someone who cares like me. believing in you. Let him hold out his hand, find you and watch what happens. What someone who can look in your eyes and see deep in your heart, find you and watch what happens. Cold, no, I won't believe your heart is cold. Maybe just afraid that you'll be broken again. Why don't you lay at someone with a deep love to give? Give that deep love to you, baby. And what magic you'll see when someone gives his heart. Someone who cares like me. Let someone give his heart. Someone who cares like me. It's Laurence Hobgood. Woo! Lawrence. That was absolutely spectacular. Man, loved it.
Thank you, pal. It's always a joy to interact with you. And this is perhaps a form of interaction we haven't quite engaged in before, but it seems pretty familiar, doesn't it?
It does. Hey, listen, can you talk about maybe a little bit about New York, where you're living? What's that like being in the epicenter of all this pandemic?
Well, it's been a real experience. If I'm understanding correctly, when I said some things before they weren't heard, so I guess I'm sort of not repeating myself. My wife and I live about 3 blocks north of Elmhurst Hospital in Queens, which was on the news a lot. So
Yeah.
we're really in the hot zone. What was the hot zone it isn't anymore, but everybody is still being really careful. I think the most interesting thing to me, if you ask me today, what's the most interesting thing, is
What's
that
the most interesting thing today?
it took way too long for the majority of people in this area to get with the masks and the social distancing, particularly the masks. I mean, second half of March, first couple of weeks of April, even when it was at its worst here, you still saw a healthy quarter to a third, depending on the day and the time, of people out on the street. Not that there were that many out, but there were people going out for walks because we were hitting the nice weather. So people were going out for walks that didn't have a mask on. But the interesting thing to me is that now, and this is part of why, at least, knock on wood, so far we're staying cool in New York City, is because now everybody is wearing a mask. Everybody's wearing a mask. Almost everybody's wearing a mask.
That's fantastic. That's progress.
No, it's really great. We live in a very great neighborhood. We love it, and so it's been really intense. But to be completely candid, I'm in love with my wife, and we've had more together time than the normal course of life events would ever afford us. And there's a part of that that's been really nice, and I think we've grown even closer, and it's really, there's a wonderful thing there, that wouldn't have happened if this hadn't happened. So
I agree. Masoni and I feel the same way. In fact, we were talking to a couple of our mutual friends, and I mentioned to them that 5 years from now, you're going to look back on this time as like, I wish I was back in the pandemic again. I wish I had all that time to read the books I had to read, and to do those things I wanted to do. This, I think, many of us will look back on this we'll look back at it not because of the deaths, not because of course, all the pain and suffering, but I think there's a silver lining to it all.
yes, and let us be optimistic that in 5 years we'll be looking back from a vantage point of everything being kind of normal, which I sort of infer from how you said that. Let's hope that that's what the case is in 5 years, as opposed to something even worse going on. Yeah, there have been certain, let's just call them unavoidable spiritual upsides to the whole thing.
Yeah, no kidding. Hey, so what's next? What else is on the docket for you to? I know you're always constantly composing and arranging. Have you got any special projects you're working on?
Well, yeah, as a matter of fact, it's sort of interesting. So, like many musicians, I have some dates that are, because they are in mid-October, they're in that realm of things that we hope might still happen. In this case, it's Midwestern mini tour. Was going to be a larger tour till all this went down, but the linchpin of the whole thing was a weekend at my beloved Green Mill in Chicago.
Yes.
And that's, I think, the weekend of October 16th, and we're hoping that that still happens. My original intention for that was to unveil a whole new body of sextet writing that I've been working on, which is classic jazz sextet, piano, bass, drums, tenor saxophone, alto saxophone, trumpet. And because of the situation,
I noticed
I'm
there's no
thinking,
guitar involved. Smart move.
I was contemplating whether this particular
if
project.
If I wrote for a sextet, I wouldn't put a guitar in there either myself, to be honest with you. But anyway, go ahead. That's right.
I'm thinking at this point, for practical reasons, it may just be that it needs to be the trio.
Yes.
In Chicago, and I've been wanting to do some new trio writing. So because both of those things are in the picture, I'm kind of writing for both of them. Also, until just a few weeks ago, we were still wrapping up our what had become all online semester at the new school, and the course that I'm teaching is arranging, which is pretty intense. There's a lot of away from class time that's involved in teaching that course, because you've got over 20 students. They're writing fairly complex arrangements that all have to be graded. They all have to be evaluated. There has to be communication with the students about what they've written and what they're missing and things like that. So that took up a lot of time until really just a few weeks ago.
Wow, that's amazing. Yeah. I think it's going to be very interesting to see where schools go. In the next 18 months, with the everybody being online, offline, as it moves forward, it's going to be an interesting scenario, I think.
Well, case in point, the new school made the decision at a certain point, which is not necessarily absolutely set in steel reinforced concrete, but it seems to be the decision at this point, which is to plan on starting the semester online in September.
Oh.
Somebody said something about, depending on what happens kind of thing, maybe we go back into the live classroom some ways into the semester, mid-semester. And it's a nice idea, but the practical problem with that, which I'm sure at this point they realize, they're smarter people than me that are thinking about this stuff, but New York City, New York City is, it's a pretty intense place to be living. And if we start online in September, I'm sure most of the kids, for obvious financial reasons, will stay at home. No reason to live in the middle of New York City if you're not from New York City, if all your classes are online. So anyway, it's going to be really interesting. There's a lot of stuff that I think, as we know, we don't know these answers yet. We're just not there yet.
Yeah. Well, listen, thank God for even a misusing Skype here.
Oh my God. Can you imagine? I mean, we've all said this to each other, but can you imagine going through this without the technology that we have right now. My father-in-law, who you've met before, he's 89 years old and still lives by himself, hale and vigorous and all that sort of thing. But he's been isolated for 3 months, and we've talked to him. We talk on the phone almost every day. We've arranged for all of his groceries to be safely delivered and wiped down before he brings them into his condominium, and everything like that. But still, you know, that's really intense to be a guy that age and literally not see a living person in the flesh for 3 months. I mean, that's weird. Without the technology, it would be, you know.
Yeah, I do know. Yeah, the letters in the mail.
Yeah. It is. So, hey, Brian, how are you liking being back in the desert? You enjoying your being back down there?
I am. I have to admit, it's you know, as you know, I've spent many years off and on, 5 years on, 5 years off, 5 years on, off. I know the area. I'll tell you, it made the pandemic, this part of it at least, far more palatable because the first thing that happened in March was all the Canadians flew the coop. and for good reason, for two good reasons. One is they all have medical insurance issues, right? Because they don't have American health insurance, they have Canadian health insurance. So there's a lot of gray area what they will and won't cover. Second was there was talk of shutting down the borders. So they all didn't want to be stuck down here, you know, for an unknown amount of time. So they bailed in March, which
right.
And then so did a lot of the, let's say the other snowbirds that have maybe more comfortable pads or home. Just, you know, I mean, if home was New York, you'd want to be home with your kids and siblings and what have you, and not across the country. So they all blew out of town. So in the middle of March, we went from probably 600,000 people to 300,000 people.
Wow.
And we also went from a place that had grocery stores and hardware stores and nurseries that were geared up, waiting for the biggest season of all time. Really, 2020 was going to be it. With Coachella and everything coming through,
right.
They were waiting for 600,000
the boomtown of
plus.
boomtowns. Yeah.
All of a sudden, you know, it's only 250, 300,000 of us here. So we never really experienced, knock on wood, we never really experienced the sort of turmoil in grocery stores. I mean, there was a couple of weeks where it was hard to get toilet paper, but that was about it. You know, because there just wasn't that many people here for that.
Let me tell you, you're lucky. What we got to here, the point that we got to here was one where we were no longer comfortable shopping in our neighborhood.
Oh my
it's
goodness.
just too dense. The aisles in the stores are too narrow. So what we were doing was playing a sort of a weird roulette game in terms of getting Amazon Fresh orders, combined with on select days, I would at 6 a.m. and get all hazmated and drive out onto Long Island to go to a Whole Foods or a Costco or whatever. But it was hairy because it was all, I mean, there were literally 4-hour periods where the main thing I had to be thinking was don't let your hands get near your face.
Yeah, right. I bet.
Because there was so much of it here that just has how it had to be during an entire excursion. You can't touch your face until you've been home and washed your hands like 3 times because everybody's getting sick. It's just everywhere. And we made it through it, like you said, knock on wood, so far.
Yeah. Well, all I can tell you is Masoni and I are getting better at it. That's all I can think of saying is, we've become much better pandemic people, or however sequestered people. There's no one else I would rather be stuck in a foxhole with than Missoni. So I have, I'm one of the lucky ones. But
yeah, and we have that in common, except not Missoni.
Point taken.
For me, it's Ariane. For you, it's Missoni. Yes, we know. We know this.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Laurence, listen, thank you so much. I'm sorry we had these glitches again. We're probably trying to do too much at one time here, but Missoni's on top of it, and I think we're storming the castle. We're moving forward.
Cool. Well, and thank you to whoever's listening and for tuning in.
That's right.
Great to see great to feel all the friendship out there. And I hope you enjoyed the videos that we made. It was really fun to play. And onward and sideways, as we say.
Exactly. Laurence, our love to both you and Ariane, and we'll talk to you soon.
Right back at you, pal. Thank you.
Bye-bye. All right, folks. Well, listen, first and foremost, we want to apologize. I want to apologize for all the technical issues. Of course, some of you are getting pretty upset about it. And, of course, you can always get your money back. Just send us your receipts, and we're more than happy to help you out. But I think we've got on top of things here. A couple of things I wanted to mention while we're still live here.
In grocery stores.
First and foremost, I want to bring up my next guest. Before we bring up Mr. Bobby Vickers, a couple new things to talk about. We have, we're going to be changing our moniker for the show, so that we'll be, for reasons I really can't talk about. But basically what's going to happen is we are moving our show over to be called Keep It Swingin' with Brian Nova on Wednesday nights. So we hope you'll keep tuning in. Same format, same show, hopefully less glitches, but the same great music, the same great artists that are going to be joining us, and the same great conversations we're going to be having, and just more of it throughout the summer. So right now what I'd like to do is I'm going to play a video because my good pally Bobby Vickers is our next guest here. And I'm going to play a video up so you can kind of catch the magnificent Bobby Vickers, a.k.a. Bud E Luv, live here. And here's a tune that we did together with, of course, the trio. Terry Miller on the bass. We'll also play with Laurence on that last song, as well as Andy Fraga Jr. on the drums. Big shout out to Terry and Andy. Thank you guys for everything. And this one is called My Shining Hour. Check it out. Here we go. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4.
This will be my shining hour, calm and happy and bright. In my dreams your face will flower through the darkness in the night. Like the lights of home before me, or an angel watching o'er me. This will be my shining hour till I'm with you again. This will be my shining hour, coming happy and bright. In my dreams, your face will flower through the darkness in the night. Like the lights of hope before me, I've got Brian watching on me. This will be my shining hour till I'm with you again. Till I'm with you, my shining hour. Till I'm with you again. With you, baby. You know it. Yeah.
Woo! Bobby Vickers tearing it up over there. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
Oh yeah.
So listen.
Oh, you know it.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I want to talk to you about one of my dearest pals on the planet, Bud E Luv himself, Bobby Vickers. This is a guy that has been working and gracing the stage for over 30 years. He's done everything for the Letterman show. He's been across the country with his Bud E Luv show. Tonight we get just a kind of a glimpse on the inside, get to see my pal Bobby, and we're going to talk to him in just a second. But listen, this is the guy that every day is not just a perfect hair day for him, it's a perfect hair decade for him.
Exactly.
As far as I'm concerned. So, what I want to do is right now present to you the man, the music, the jewelry.
Just a little.
How about a hand for my pal, Bobby Vickers? Come on in here, Bobby. There he is.
I got a gar going.
You got the gar, and
I got a little Cohiba working.
Oh, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. You got palm trees. Where are you at? In Kona or something like that?
No, I'm in my backyard.
That's a nice backyard there, Buddy Love.
Yeah, well, we'll turn it around. I don't know if we can see the San Francisco.
Yeah, what is that?
It's San Francisco, baby.
Oh, yeah, I can. There it is. I can see the city. Beautiful.
I'm back. There we go.
That's wonderful. So what's going on with you up there in the Bay Area? How's things?
In the Bader Gray area, the Greater Bay Area, my dyslexia kicked in. It's a gorgeous day. It's 73 degrees. Rachel, my sweet wife, the great doctor, Rachel Molina, just came home. Cranky as all hell. But she went out to our little garden. We've got tomatoes going here. The pandemic can do all it wants. We got fresh tomatoes. What more do I need?
What more could you ask for?
No, zucchinis. We have that too.
Wow.
Yeah,
wow.
So
You're a multi-vegetable sort of place.
Yeah, zucchini, tomatoes, nothing else. No, actually, we have lettuce growing. It's great. The cat's back there. Little Alfie's been running around. That's our corgi.
I like it. Yes,
yeah.
Of course.
Yeah, he's
Alfie the corgi.
Yep. So it's strange. It's strange times, brother.
They are strange times, my friend.
It really is. No gigs except for these kinds of interactions that I have with my friends. I did a little something with Shelley back. The trio, the Bud E Luv trio, Michael Hatfield, Mark Baum, also known as Mikey Love and Marky Love. Yes. We did a little thing on a mutual friend of ours, Rod Marymore, started this thing called Music in Place, and it's been giving Bay Area musicians an outlet for their talents. So it's good.
It's fantastic.
I do whatever I can, and I hope that our August date, which is an outdoor concert in San Mateo, won't get canceled, but it probably will. Locally, it's interesting. The parks have circles, 6-foot circles, where you can sit inside that circle, and then there's another circle 6 feet away. So that's how they're socially distanced. Yeah, they're socially distancing people in parks. So hopefully that will work in San Mateo, and we'll be able to do our show. Although I don't know how I'm going to get our horn section to socially distance. That could be tough. And wear a mask while they're playing a saxophone or a trumpet.
Well, you're going to have to put masks in front of their bells or something like that.
It's crazy.
Although I've always been an advocate. I've been an advocate for that for years, but no one's ever listened to me.
Especially lead trumpet players. Are you listening, Neil Livonius?
Trombone players.
Are you listening, Rick Walsh?
We kid.
Well, we kid. We love these guys.
We love these guys,
Loud,
you know?
Loud Mother Fletchers that they are. May I say Mother Fletcher? Yeah.
In your backyard, you can say whatever you want, Bobby.
I can, and I will, by gosh, by golly. Yeah. So, it's been interesting times here. I do a lot of walking. Can't go to the gym. Put on weight. Everybody has. It's just we're doing what we can do. And like I told you earlier this morning when we talked, I did get up to the trees over the weekend with Rachel and my stepson, who is in the kitchen right now making chicken enchilada mole.
Wow!
They made They made the mole sauce last week before we left town to go to the trees, and tonight we're going to taste the fruit of his labors, as it were, and shall be.
Yes.
So
lovely, very civilized.
Very civilized. I think I'll have a little sip for my vessel.
So, listen, while you're wetting the old tongue, wetting the whistle, as they say, I want to play another video that we did together here. It was a beautiful tune, Oscar Levant tune.
Oscar Levant, one of my faves.
You do such a beautiful job at it, Bobby.
I love doing this one with you, too. It's one of my faves to do with you.
So this is a beautiful tune that we'll play for you right now. It's called Blame It on My Youth. All right, Bobby, you ready? Here we go.
You were my adored one, then you became the bored one, and I was like a toy that brought you joy one day, a broken toy that you preferred to throw away. If I expected love when first we kissed, blame it on my youth. If only just for you I did exist, blame it on my youth. I believed in everything like a child of 3. You meant more than anything, all the world to me. If you were on my mind, oh, night and day, blame it on my youth. If I forgot to eat and sleep and pray, blame it on my youth. If I cried just a little bit when first I learned the truth, don't to eat and sleep and pray. Blame it on my youth. If I cry just a little itty bitty bit, when first I learned the truth, don't blame it on my heart, blame it on my youth. Yeah, Brian. Yeah. Nice.
Bobby Vickers. Yeah, Bob.
Oh, there we go.
Wow, Bobby Vickers, Bobby Vickers, Bobby Vickers. That was fantastic.
Well, here we are. Do you hear me well?
Yes,
I'm on
I
the
hear you
phone.
great.
Good.
I hear
good.
you great.
Perfect. It was interesting listening to Laurence talk about masks in New York City in your little chat with him, because San Francisco's been pretty good. Of course, we got a bunch of hippies here.
Bunch of hippies up there in San Francisco.
Yeah, and what do we? Everybody makes fun of our friend, Nancy, but between all these, we've kept it fairly mellow here in San Francisco.
I'm glad you guys are behaving yourselves up there. It's an important thing up there. It's an important thing.
Well, it's very important. Not as important as smoking a cigar. I see yours is not lit. You're doing a chappie on me.
Dude, I'm doing a George Burns on you is what I'm doing. We can't smoke in the house here, so we're.
Oh yeah, neither can I.
I've
The
got
second,
to, go ahead.
The second Rachel came in, I had the sliding doors open, so the cigar smoke was wafting in. The cigar was not in the house. The second she walks in, she goes, "You're smoking a cigar in the house?" I said, "No, I'm out on the deck." And she comes and closes the doors on me. Ah, yes, the joys. The joys of being
of
married.
sequestering. Yes.
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 Well, she was working today, and she had her gloves on when she came
no,
home.
Yeah. Well, she's a
it's
doc.
tough for
She's
the
got a lot
doctor.
to deal with. Yeah.
It's tough for the doctors, and bless them all for what they're doing.
Yes. They're the true heroes out there right now. That's for sure. Hey, Bobby, I want to thank you for joining us here today.
It was a pleasure, Brian. I'm delighted that you asked me. As these go on, if you need me to come and be with you again, I'm always there for you.
We'd love it. We'd love it. We'd love it. We will. We will. We're gonna take you up on that one for sure.
Yeah, but I've been
give our
enjoying
best
it.
to Rachel.
I will. Love you, brother. Love
you too,
to
man.
Masoni and
I'll
to
tell her.
Ellington.
Oh
And
yeah,
to
come here,
Ellington.
Ellington. Come here. Come here. He's sleeping out right now. He's been having his own. There he is.
Oh, there he is. What a
Say
cutie.
hi to Uncle Bob. Look at Uncle Bob. He's a real ham. He likes the camera, that's for sure.
He does. What a handsome devil.
He just got his haircut. Which it was pretty funny. Masoni and I had to cut his hair because it had been like a month or two before we cut it, and we did a number on him. So we were lucky that we got him to the groomer, and they kind of
They fixed him
covered
up.
up all our issues and stuff.
Our groomer's not open, and now Alfie walks around, and his nails are so long, it's tick, 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 tick.
Yeah, when he was rubbing me, like he'll come up to my chair and start scraping my arm. I could literally feel it. It was like, okay. I'll get your
All
nails
right.
cut.
Lighten
up,
up,
kid.
Chester. Jeez.
That's right. I might need that arm someday. All right, Bobby. Best to you guys, and we'll be in touch
Peace
soon.
Peace and love, brother. Peace and love.
Take care of yourself.
You got it.
Oh, man, what a treat, folks. What a treat having the great
Hey there,
Bud E Luv
Linda.
with us and Laurence Hobgood. And,
Hi there.
Let's see. Also,
How
want
are
to
you?
have a big shout out to my bro Ted Hall up there at Long Meadow Ranch.
Boy, you're going to have a lot of happy
I know
people.
you guys.
I'll tell
I've
you.
got a lot of great information from a lot of folks that have been buying Long Meadow Ranch winery, wines
Right.
and stuff. So keep supporting our pals, Long Meadow Ranch, and Boleto is our other wine of choice this week. And a big shout out to all my friends and pals all across all the cigar lounges out there.
Look, Bobby, your
And,
conversation with Linda
listen,
on Brian's show.
We are
I
working
hope
on
you
this
don't say
week by
anything.
week by week. We're getting it better and better. So we really appreciate your patience and your input. We just want to make it a better show each week. I really want to give a big hug, a kiss, and a shout out to Masoni Lanza, who is behind the scenes here, putting all this stuff together and weathering the storm. She's the one that is keeping together the mess that I've created here. So thank you, Masoni, so much for keeping this all together and keeping this working. Listen, next week we're going to have with us the one and only, the great Billy Valentine is going to join us next week. He'll be singing some of his songs along with some other special guests. We're also going to have Randy Willard with us again. He was supposed to be with us last week, but we lost him somewhere in translation and transmission. So we're going to talk to the clothier to the stars and entertainers next week, one and only Randy Willard. Big thanks out there to Terry Miller and Andy Fraga Jr. for all you guys do. And of course, a big shout out to Laurence Hobgood and Ariana out there. Thank you guys so much for all your help last week here putting the show together. I hope you guys have a wonderful week. All I can ask you to do is be kind to each other. That's what I try to tell myself every day is try to be kind, try to be kind. These are tough times. And listen, I guess the most important thing is remember to keep it swinging. Take care.
The good thing about you being gone is I can watch the game all day long. And I can stretch my legs out in the bed, extra pillow underneath my head. I don't know why nobody ever told me about the upside of lonely. I got a lot more room for my stuff, and I only have to wash one cup. I can stay up late and play my guitar, and the groceries go twice as far. I don't know why, no